Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Syamil Iman bin Kamarudin. I will be presenting on my final year project titled Cooling Load Estimation and HVAC System Selection for Study Room, College Kedalaman Siswa. My supervisor is Madam Siti Ramelina binti Asnaf. In this presentation, I will be talking about introduction, literature review, and the methodology. Introduction. Background of study. To estimate the cooling load and select a suitable HVAC system for the study room at Tun Abdul Razak 1 and All-Male College. The study room is subjected to a high occupancy and long usage duration. The room is exposed to a lot of external heat gains such as from solar radiation, poor insulation, and air infiltration. Problem statement. The issue for this study room is it requires a consistent thermal comfort and air quality for optimal academic performance. Small, enclosed space like the study rooms are prone to heat build-up and have poor ventilation. The problem is an oversized system can cause short cycling and energy waste. Undersizing system running continuously will increase the operational cost. Problem solving. Conducting a cooling load estimation using the CLTD method to determine the actual thermal needs. And after that, selecting a suitable HVAC system based on the cooling load capacity for optimal comfort and energy usage. Objective of this final year project is to do a cooling load estimation by calculating the cooling load of the study room at Tun Abdul Razak 1 College using standard engineering methods. The second objective is for the HVAC system selection by evaluating the difference of each type of HVAC system and recommending the most suitable HVAC system based on the calculation. The scope of work for this final year project focus to a single room. A thorough analysis of the room will be conducted for this final year project. And after the calculation, HVAC system evaluation will be done to find the most suitable system. For the literature review, the fundamental of HVAC system. HVAC system, which stand for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, is a system that controls and regulates temperature, humidity, and air quality. It contains many different types of systems such as centralized unit, split unit, and variable refrigerant flow. For the centralized unit, it is widely used in larger buildings due to the centralized cooling with chilled waters loop, and it is more complex and more expensive. For the split unit, it is commonly used in residential settings for the low initial cost and simplicity, but it lacks the energy efficiency and zoning control of larger systems. And lastly, for the variable refrigerant flow, it provides zone individual control and high part load efficiency via variable speed compressor. It is also has integrated ventilation that improve comfort but increase initial cost. Calculation method. There is two types of calculation method for cooling load estimation. Firstly, manual. The method calculates conduction and solar heat gain from building surface and internal load using standardized table. CLTD offer fast, conservative, and estimate and is particularly useful during initial hatchback sizing. The cooling load temperature difference (CLTD) method is a widely accepted manual approach. It is documented in detail in guides like HVAC Made Easy. This method calculates conduction and solar heat gains using standardized table. For the software, dynamic tools such as Carrier HAP and Energy Plus allow comprehensive hourly modeling of thermal behavior under real weather conditions. And lastly, for the cooling load estimation. Cooling load estimation is the foundation of any HVAC system design. It determines the capacity required to maintain comfortable indoor conditions despite external and internal heat gains. There are a lot of factors that affect the cooling load estimation. Firstly, occupants and electrical component. Internal heat gains from occupants and equipments are major factors in small room. This is due to occupants and electrical components that produce major latent heat. After that is weather and building material. In a hot and humid country like Malaysia, the weather affects a lot on the heat gain. For the building material, uh, a design that have a lot of insulation, shading, and reflective material can lower heat gains significantly. A study showed that a well-insulated roof and envelope materials can halve the cooling loads when properly implemented. And lastly, for the sun orientation. Sun is the number one factor that affects the cooling load estimation as it produces the most heat. By knowing the orientation of the sun, it will provide a more accurate cooling load estimation. Methodology. In this chapter, it will outline the methodology adopted to estimate the cooling load for study room located within Tun Abdul Razak Satu College. The primary objective is to determine the total heat gain in the room using a manual approach based on the cooling load temperature difference (CLTD) method. This method is guided by procedures recommended in the ASHRAE Handbook of Fundamentals and is suitable for educational and residential space where software-based simulations may not be practical or accessible. The findings from this method will be used to determine the appropriate capacity of the HVAC system for the room. The detail of the site is the usage of the room is usually used by students for studying or group work. The floor area is the length of the room is 5.95 meter times the width of the room 3.75 meter with the total floor area of 22.3125 meters squared. The ceiling height of the room is 2.77 meter. The orientation of the room is facing to the east. The construction of the wall is brick with light plaster. The window type of the room is single pane clear glass. The room will sometimes be occupied by up to 10 persons at a time. The climate of the location is tropical, hot and humid all year around. This final year project follow a structured approach. For the first week, project title and briefing were given by the supervisor. For the second week, uh, we developed the project synopsis. And for the third week, problem statement and objective development were found. And for the fourth and fifth week, literature review was done to find research that is similar to this project. For the sixth and seventh week, methodology planning of site survey and data collection. And the eighth and ninth week were the following survey and collection. On the ninth and 10th week, uh, proposal writing was begin, and on the 11th week, report submission was done, and the final last few weeks was doing preparation for presentation and the final presentation. That is all for my final year project presentation. Thank you.